Hi, my name's Cassidy Patterson, and this is my DISC Leadership Assessment. I was asked to complete a DISC assessment to showcase what my leadership style would be like. So I'm going to go over some of the key points that the assessment told me about myself. I'll also go over what I agreed with or disagreed with during the assessment, and also different situations where I would either thrive in leadership roles or maybe some more difficult situations I would have within a leadership role. So let's get started with the key points. So just to preface my response a little bit, I've actually already taken a DISC assessment prior to this assignment. The current workplace I am at has all internal employees take a DISC assessment to be able to understand how to better engage with your other internal employees, but also how to use them with the clients that we work with as well. This DISC assessment that I took was pretty consistent with the prior assessment that I used. So I'm going to go over a couple of the key points that this specific assessment has given me. The first being that the keyword that would describe me would be a persuader. And I think all the rest of the key points really hone in on this word and how this can describe me as an overall person and a leader. First, it says I'm very enthusiastic and very social. It says I'm extremely outgoing, very talkative. I'm very outspoken and lively whenever when I'm interacting with others. To kind of go along with that, it also says that I'm very high functioning, that I tend not to relax or rest at all, and that I'm constantly moving and doing a lot of things all at once. It also mentioned that I long for recognition within my role and that I long for recognition from my peers and also my subordinates for the work that I'm doing. It also indicated that I desire a lot of freedom and that I don't like to be bogged down by a lot of rules or structure, and that I like to kind of create my own path. And it also focused a lot on how I'm not very concerned with small details, that I tend to focus more on the bigger picture of either situations or problems, and how I definitely rely on others to help with those details to get the task completed. So now I want to go over a couple of the key points and things I either agreed with, disagreed with, or was surprised by. So we'll start with what I agreed with, the first being that I'm a very social and enthusiastic person in nature. I'm very talkative. Honestly, it's very hard for me to finish these assignments because I have 1,000 things to say. So I have to redo these assignments a lot because I go over the time limit. So this is definitely indicated within my school life, my work life. I talk to a lot of people, and sometimes I have to think to myself, why am I talking? So that I definitely agree with. The next thing that I was not surprised by and that I definitely agree with was wanting to be free from rules and structure. I definitely like to work at my own pace, and I don't feel comfortable being tied down to certain standards if it's something I may not necessarily agree with. I also don't tend to focus on details. I definitely agree with that. I'm very good at looking at the bigger picture, but sometimes I lack being able to follow through with things because I'm not able to organize the details. And so I definitely already knew that was what I consider a downfall of mine within my work life. And also my desire for change or autonomy. I think that actually ties in a lot with the freedom from rules, but I definitely agree with this as well. I thrive with change, and I really like just being able to do new things and try new things and be spontaneous. A couple things, though, that I disagree with or was surprised by first, and this is something I disagreed with, is motivation from popularity. I don't believe that my actions in work, and especially with my leadership style, is necessarily motivated by others' approval or other people admiring me. I do it more for the recognition to know internally that I did a good job. So I don't necessarily agree with just that aspect of the recognition piece. Also, something that I don't really disagree with, I was just surprised by, was coming off as aggressive or conceited. I definitely understand now that I read this and I think about it, though, where that would come from, just because I'm so social and I'm so enthusiastic. So that can almost seem like very in your face whenever I'm communicating with other people. So I think that's something that I definitely need to be more aware of, so I'm able to communicate with others that may not necessarily be the same DISC personality as I am. Finally, I want to go over my leadership effectiveness based on this DISC assessment. So first I'm going to talk about different situations or environments where my leadership style would be effective. The first type of situation would be groups that handle the details. I've already talked about how this is one of my major downfalls. I'm really good at getting things going. So if the team that I'm surrounded by could pick that up and be able to help me follow through, I think that we would be able to get a lot accomplished together. Also, groups that are adaptable, just because I like to move really quickly from one thing to another and I really like change. People that are very traditional in a sense in their work nature would have a hard time, I guess, keeping up with my style of work. So I think that that would be effective if they were adaptable. And then finally, groups that are people focused. Again, this assessment said that everything I do is surrounded by wanting to please others. And I think that because I'm so social and so people oriented, it would be very hard for me to mesh very well with a group that may not be like that as well. And finally, a couple situations where I don't think I would be as effective. One being groups of people who are not social or outgoing. I think that this would definitely be a situation where I would come off as that aggressive or conceited. Second, groups that would not appreciate or recognize my work. I now understand that I need that feedback and that reassurance that what I'm doing is important. So I think that would be very difficult for me. And then finally, groups that are not open to change, because just like I said, I really enjoy moving from thing to thing, and I would need somebody around me that would be open to that as well. So thank you, and I really enjoyed this assignment.